How much order am I to need?
Lots.
Pretty good.
I like this song.
He's good.
I think I'll let it play.
It's a bohemian.
Huh?
It's a bohemian Hispanic.
Yeah. Kind of like their beer. It's all German. All Mexican beer is German influenced.
Is that the Vela Brothers?
It's Veterans Day / Remembrance Day, election fraud upheaval at the DOJ. We have Texas GOP Chair Alan West joining us this morning. All that and a whole lot more coming up on today's Wade and Carter Show.
Ain't nobody spent way less.
Hey, how are you this morning?
I'm good. Good morning to you, sir.
How's life?
Excellent, except it's in turmoil and somewhat in flux, and we don't know what's happening. Other than that, it's great.
Everything's good. Let's do this.
The Wade and Carter weather brought to you by our friends at Deer and Feed. It is 61 degrees and cloudy in Victoria. Going to be cloudy most of the day. A high today of 86. That's pretty much it. 61 to 86. Make it a little muggy.
Can't ask for much more.
No. Another bluebird day for the Chamber of Commerce.
We'll be joined bottom of the hour by Texas GOP Chair Alan West, so look forward to that. Happy Veterans Day and Remembrance Day to happy's the wrong word.
Thoughtful.
Today is Veterans Day. Today is Remembrance Day. For Canadians, it's time to pay respects and tribute to those who paid the ultimate sacrifice in preserving our freedoms that we enjoy. And in the U.S., we honor our veterans on this day.
Yes.
So thanks to everybody that has served. I know we have a number that check in every morning, so thank you all.
Very blessed. Love all of our veterans. I'll tell you, Ash, there is no more pertinent guest anywhere on the air today than Alan West being on the air with us to discuss state politics.
I agree.
And it's amazing to me. We're very, very fortunate to have the ability to reach out to these folks, and they respond positively, favorably. And to have Alan West on in the middle of a Speaker of the House race, if you will, is it's as pertinent as it gets. Our own Jeannie Morrison had been a contender, put her hat in the ring for Speaker of the House. Obviously, it's an accolade, it's a responsibility. She is certainly qualified on every level, and we would have loved to let her have that honor. And at the same time, she pulled out fairly quickly and gave her support to a man named Dave Thielen. And we're going to get the comments from retired Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, former United States Congressman, about his thoughts of the whole process. So really looking forward to that.
CW Bean, good morning. Bobby Leister,
The Leister
still holding strong at 339 on YouTube.
That's
Johnny
good.
Hodden says, lest we forget.
Amen.
Lest we do. Johnny, I agree. Marvin Mickish, good morning. Judge Posey, Chris Conrad, Matt Boucher, Steve Kidder. Chris Conrad asked if we're on the iPad audio again today.
Is there a problem?
I guess. I don't know. I don't hear it. Says the mics aren't hot. I don't know. Carry on for a second.
There you have it. I'm here scared, shell shocked. I'm here alone. I never do that. See, Ash always has Caleb Shaw to bail him out. Let us know if the mics come back. We don't know what to do. Is it this?
No, I
Could be
checked that
that.
already.
Seems
but,
loose.
yeah. But I don't know. Scott Tomko, good morning. Pat McDonald, Stephen Kidder, Rena Scherer, David Glass, Judge Posey says, Happy Veterans Day to all the fellow vets. Thank you for your service and you as well. Catherine Leininger checking in.
There you go.
James Kurth.
James Curtis says he hears us fine.
Yeah,
Bob
Bob
Wally
Wally
says
says
it's all good. You guys need to turn the volume up on your iPad or your laptop. Pat McDonald says our volume is not, our audio is not. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's beyond my scope of
Maybe
capabilities at this point.
When we move to our new digs, maybe Magic will drop this board along the way. It'll jar everything loose, get the dust off the circuitry, and we can get right back in the game. Does this help if we do that? Does that help?
I don't know. I try not to do that too much.
Right?
So, yeah. Well, you can watch along on the iPad. You can always listen at 95.9 or at magic95victoria.com. Don't forget, many options to tune in this morning.
True story. When we move to our new digs, our range is going to go way up. Now I've seen the graph, if you will. It's going way up. Like you can listen to us all over. Practically global.
James Kerr says he's watching on YouTube, commenting over here. The only problem with you, not the problem. Well, yeah, it's a problem with YouTube. We can't get the phone calls in on YouTube. So.
And the audio is just coming straight off the laptop. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of.
Matt McDonald says it's better, so I don't know.
There you go.
That was that. Maybe this was. Maybe this knob is problematic. Maybe this needs to be up a little more than what we've used to. But anyway. All right.
If things are problematic, we have to fix that.
We got that settled. So,
greased lightning.
I just want to thank everybody who has served this country, continues to serve this country.
Agree.
It's never enough to just say thank you, but I don't know what more you can do.
And they don't do it for political party. They do it for country first.
Yep.
It's an amazing, the American soldier is an amazing human being.
Really are.
On one hand, and I've said this for years, I was thankful for the American soldier that made it so I didn't have to serve. And as an adult.
Well, you were a draft dodger.
Sure.
You waited until, 1962 to be born?
Yeah, I was in the Joe Biden school. But now, I wish I would have had 2 years. See, it would be disingenuous for me to say every teenager ought to have 2 years in the military because I didn't go. And then I didn't seek to go. I just went off to Texas and, partied and played with the BBA. But I look at it and believe that for men, especially men that go into the military, the 2 years, let's say they give up, the discipline they learn would let them catch up really quickly. Come out, take advantage of the GI Bill, right? Get in your schooling. And they're just so focused that I imagine after you've crawled on your belly underneath barbed wire in the mud with somebody shooting a machine gun over your head for training, going to the library to study just wouldn't be that difficult.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Certainly would put things in perspective.
Jeff Fonseca says, I may have to call Allen's Wrecker Service. I have a flat and a wrist with plates in it. How about 578-6300? Why don't you just not even waste any time? Call Allen right now.
Yeah.
578-6300.
Don't need to think about it, Jeff.
Don't even think about it. Just get him out there and please say, hey, I'm listening to Wade and Carter. They said, I need you. BJ Nelson just said, where's Victor? Can he fix it? BJ Nelson is a problem solver. You ever notice that?
I've noticed that.
I bet she's probably a handful around the house. Like Scott's like, yeah, the dishwasher's not working. Next thing you know, she's in there with a tool belt on. Tim the tool guy. Don't worry, honey. I got
it.
Yeah.
Cheryl knows that well.
Sure. I give a shout out. I kind of it's not a conflict because it's just another Victoria business that did something very well. I have a first American home warranty. You know, we've talked about this.
Yep.
My disposal was done, and it was starting to leak. There was a seal. And the house is 9 years old. It's just that time, And I mean, we use the disposal to discipline Ryland. You just shove his little arm in there. Yeah, it doesn't cut him much,
no.
But I called the warranty people, and they sent out Edwards Plumbing. And Edwards Plumbing came out and replaced my disposal. I mean, post haste, bam, done. And then for some reason, my dishwasher was backing up, and that gets nappy real quick, because I took everything out and then I ran it again, hoping it would dislodge whatever was in there, like a bunch of Legos or something, And they came back out and fixed that. And I just want to give Darlene Wilburn and the nice folks at Edwards Plumbing an atta girl and some atta boys for being so Johnny on the spot, if you will. Nice job.
Chris Conroy says he thinks that lady that called in the other day has a relative working here that likes us as much as she does.
Really?
That could be why the sound.
It really didn't bother me that she called. It
her.
really didn't. And I don't know if I've matured. I don't think that's possible.
I don't either.
I think I've just gotten numb to it. I've just accepted that there are really, really dumb people in the world. And what you have to understand is, for example, Ash, if you don't believe that there's got to be some smoldering embers somewhere with all this smoke about the election being not right, you're pretty dumb. Now, I'm not saying the Republicans haven't done the same thing. I'm saying the Republicans never got caught to this extent. Probably. They've you don't really know where to get your news anymore. We've all heard by now that there was a certain software, Dominion or whatever, that was from Canada, pesky Canadians, and that every state that's in dispute was using that software.
About 30 different states were
using it. Is it true or not? We don't know.
Iceman is in, Christina Wise. Well, what they're saying, some didn't do a software update or something. Then you hear the hammer and the swordfish or whatever that one's called.
Scorecard and hammer.
Yeah,
you sound like me not knowing that,
I like that.
Tim McInerney, you mean Tom McInerney? I always feel so inadequate. I have the big picture, but I don't have I can't focus the camera, I'm the guy that would take a picture of Yosemite Falls or Half Dome. It would be blurry. I'm just like Ansel Adams, but it's just not in focus.
Without talent.
Right.
I meant to do it.
And I took it in color. I'm just trying to mimic Ansel.
I'm that guy. Name. I was trying to find a new background for my Facebook cover page, the cover photo, and I was looking at some photos I had taken in New York, all blurry.
Sure. Well, you were loaded. You were walking around. You'd been drinking shots out of AOC's belly button down there in Bronx.
Because there's no city that does Christmas on the streets as well as New York City. Other cities used to do it, but now their downtowns are boarded up and they don't have businesses.
You're really fired up about putting out all this Christmas gear, aren't you?
Yep.
Interesting.
So getting back to the election fraud thing, the top election crime official prosecutor walks away from that role at the DOJ because Attorney General William Barr, who oversees the department, says,
good idea. I'm an idea man, Chuck. I love brokers. Remember that movie? Night Shift. Keaton. What was his first name?
Michael.
I was going to say Bill. Michael Keaton and Fonzie. What's his name?
Henry Winkler.
Yeah. Remember they worked at the morgue and they decided they would be pimps.
That's a good movie.
Now, Henry Winkler was such a great straight man. He goes, let me see if I got this straight. You want to pimp hookers out of the morgue. Yeah, we love brokers.
That was such a departure from the Fonz, too.
So that's a very, very, and what's her name from Cheers is in that movie, the blonde?
Shelley Long?
Yes, she plays it. It's almost like for you, I'm sorry. It's like you have to do charades when you're on the show. She sounds like
a lot of times
2 syllables, Shelley. I apologize.
It's all right. Ginkgo biloba might help you.
Right? Jeffrey Fonseca says, Fonzie is my namesake. Hey. 5'7",
You're about the
6,300.
same.
Jeff.
You're about the same height, I think.
Yeah, you're better looking than Henry Winkler, although he had a tremendous career. He did a lot of things.
Yeah. So Richard Pilger, director of the Elections Crime Branch in the Justice Department's Public Integrity Section. Just love these names.
The Public Integrity Section.
Right there. Elections Crimes Division.
PIS.
Branch.
What they call it, the PIS branch.
Yeah. So if there's no election crimes or fraud,
Why do you need that?
why do you need the division?
Right.
Right?
And if somebody asks questions and it offends him so much that he wants to quit, then
Maybe
why do you need a job?
yeah. So the AG, William Barr, says that we need to investigate claims of fraud. But he also said that, they could take the investigative steps, such as interviewing witnesses during a period that they normally would need permission from elections crime to do, which is interesting. Your elections crime division that's supposed to investigate elections crimes has to permit you to investigate election crimes.
Right.
Does this not just seem real weird?
It
And almost like it's trying to cover up election crimes rather than investigate them.
It does. It does seem that way.
And he gets all mad in his tersely worded resignation letter, Richard Pilger does.
Is he mad at Donald Trump?
No, I think Trump
Or Bill
slash
Barr? He's mad at
Barr. But he has issues with this because it's an important new policy abrogating the 40-year-old non-interference policy for ballot fraud investigations in the period prior to elections becoming certified and uncontested. And am I wrong? Isn't this the time that you would investigate
Right.
claims of election fraud,
Right after the
instances
election.
of election fraud? What's the point after? If somebody has been elected fraudulently, wouldn't this be the time to investigate it, determine whether or not they actually are legitimately elected,
Yeah.
and allow them to sit or not if it was a fraudulent election?
You don't
What is the
want
point
Biden
after?
to move in. You don't want Biden to move in and then tell him he's got to move out.
But doesn't that seem like what that 40-year-old policy basically did was protect anybody who might have benefited from election fraud at whatever level? Because we're not going to investigate it between election day and inauguration day or swearing in day.
Joe Biden says it's an embarrassment that Donald Trump hasn't reached out to him. It's an embarrassment. And that as he's talking to global leaders, what is he doing? Didn't somebody else get in trouble for negotiating with global leaders before the president was sworn in last time? That's interesting to me. Yeah, Bob Wiley says, hey, that's a perfect time to prove that the voter fraud exists.
You would think, and this guy decides, well, I'm just going to resign as the top dog here. Doesn't quit, completely, which tells me he might be a holdover from the Obama era, and maybe
No
there's. So I don't know. Thought it was interesting too that I think I heard a number, something like 9,000. You want to know why President Trump had troubles draining the swamp as he promised to do? 9,000 political appointees, flunkies in some way, shape, or form were appointed to federal jobs or given federal jobs by the Obama administration.
Wow.
As they were on their way out the door, basically making it impossible to drain the swamp.
Good paying government jobs that'll never go away.
9,000 of these things, folks.
That
Obama just felt, here you go, get on the dole. I'm guessing at minimum $100,000 each.
So how much is that? Let's see. Every 10 of them
9,000
is $1 million. So that'd be $900 million worth of payroll. Almost $1 billion with benefits. $900 million.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Annually.
You see what BJ's trying to stir up?
Yeah.
She says we could all go to Veracruz for lunch. James Kerr says he's available tomorrow. I think that's a great idea. I want to encourage you folks, and I'm going to give you a specific ad here in a minute. When you call these folks, and I know you do, they tell me you do, mention Wade and Carter. If you call USA Concrete Coatings, tell Charlie Garcia, hey, Wayne Carter was talking about this polyurethane coating you've got. I want to quote, dial 578-HOME and reach out to Charlie Garcia. If you call the Gray Barn, 920-6803, reach out to Cheryl and say, hey, I was listening on Wayne Carter. I'd like for you to talk to me about my next reunion, party, bar mitzvah, quinceañera,
Wedding, funeral,
whatever. She's doing my funeral.
Parade.
May not be that long. If you call Rocket or the VCS companies, or you go into the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer, tell them Wayne Carter sent you.
Tell them you heard about it on Wayne
Ask for
Carter.
Paula. Say, I heard about you on Wayne Carter. I want to come see you first.
Stop in there today on Kurt Boulevard.
Yeah. Go see Bobby Leon, Chesnick Furniture, 100 years in downtown Victoria. Celebrating at 116 West Swan Lane, the corner of Swan Lane and Bridge. Go in and say, hey, Mr. Leon. He's earned it. Hey, Mr. Leon, sure would like to look at one of those sofas that's on for 50% off.
I heard about it on Wayne Carter.
Heard about it on Wayne Carter. These things matter to us because as we present a forum, folks have to be able to quantify that it's worth their investment in our program. Throw in the fact that there's a handful, and literally just a handful, of super idiots, like super spreaders. There's a handful of super idiots that promote the idea of let's boycott Wayne Carter's sponsors because they're not left enough. Yeah, that hasn't gone so well for them. There's like 6 of them, but it is a special needs coalition, so you have to watch out for it.
Went about as well as removing the statue downtown.
Yeah, and where's the outrage?
I just stir that up again?
Where is the outrage? Where is that statue? Why is it still there? It was a big deal, right? People were cut.
It was a big deal in June. Yep.
To the core, I tell you.
So offensive, it triggered a bunch of people.
Oh, it's like we've got to go down. Let's go have a protest and go get a latte. Come on, I'll meet you there. We'll protest peacefully, and then we'll get a cup of coffee.
They moved on to other. I don't know what the issues were.
Yeah, well, there's nothing there.
So
I don't know which is worse, being insignificant or not recognizing it. At least we know we're insignificant.
There you go. Jeff Fonseca says his manager had his garage coated. It looks awesome. There you go.
There you go.
USA Concrete Coating is doing a great job.
578-6300, Jeff. Call Allen's Wrecker Service. Just do it. Let us know you did it.
Northern Torrid meteor shower tonight and tomorrow night.
You're excited about that, aren't you?
I kind of am.
Yeah. Tell them.
I've seen it a few times doing high school football games, driving home late at night, and you see a few of these at this time of year. But tonight and tomorrow night around midnight should be optimal viewing. The moon is going to be such.
T-Lat's battling the iRig.
Yeah. The moon is going to be such that it'll allow for almost optimal viewing of these meteors, about 5 an hour starting around midnight.
What would you do if you just saw one like coming at you?
You ain't running away from that speed. So,
did you see where it was a couple of months ago now, they say that if pick a number, if a meteor or a fragment of a meteor gets within, honestly, like 1 million miles, then it's a big deal. It's a close call in outer space. It's a huge number. You're like, really? That's a close call? We had one.
Well, when you think about how vast space is.
Well, yeah, but they call that a close call.
Yeah.
And like you can barely see it on a telescope. But they did have one recently that snuck up on the globe and was, honestly, it was like, pick a number, 45,000 miles away. Like it was just right out there, like went between us and the moon. People were like, hey. Went right by.
What were they like?
Hey.
Oh, Lord.
What is BJ Nelson talking about? Do left
by furniture.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes there's oil and gas byproducts in some of those items.
Well, there's no doubt. I think you're going to see. Don't
be ready, folks. And am I happy gas prices are where they are? Yes, in a way. Do I understand why they're there? Yes, I do. Demand has dropped. That's not good for this state long term. But neither is artificially destroying industries just because you have an agenda to push that has absolutely proven to have no benefit.
Yep.
Other than probably lining pocketbooks somewhere.
James Kerr says we could be so lucky to get an asteroid strike. If we were ever going to have an asteroid strike, it would be 2020.
Yeah. This is the year of Armageddon.
Yeah. What does it say right above there that somebody laughed at about alone? Right. Well, there you go. Kathleen Leininger says, hey, leave our history alone.
Well, it was the topic du jour. That's my point.
Yeah.
They get outraged for 30 seconds and attention spans.
Well, that's the deal, is that statue's been there forever. Nobody's been offended by it. Then somebody comes in that didn't grow up here, isn't from here. And that doesn't preclude their ability to protest. But they're not from here, and they come in and go, hey, people all over the country are upset. They took down a statue of a horse in Portland. That makes sense. I mean, we don't know if the horse was a Republican or a Democrat.
They're removing statues of
Christopher Columbus. Took down a Columbus statue because the Native Americans could be offended by it, although there weren't any within 100 miles of the statue. So at the end of the day, it's like, well, gee, we need to be upset too, so we can find a way to get on the news. That's what happened.
Kelly Farmer says the benefit is these people can feel good.
Yeah.
Highest priority these days is feelings. And kind of sums up the lady the other day.
Concur.
Well, why'd you vote for Biden? Change.
Yeah.
Because it made yeah. I mean, if you're that triggered by whoever's in the White House, you've got some serious issues.
Oh, yeah.
Serious issues that probably need. I don't want you to self-medicate.
I think she already had.
Well, she might have. But there are others out there who got so triggered, but have no problems almost overlooking or defending similar type behavior that they claim Donald Trump has done, even though they manufacture quotes and take things out of context. But there's no denying the context when Joe Biden calls little black kids roaches at a pool.
Right. Or when he says, well, poor kids are just as smart as white kids.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that what comes out of his mouth isn't in his heart. Don't tell me that when he eulogizes Robert Byrd, who was a KKK organizer. Come on.
It can't be what's in his heart. That's only the case if it's Donald J. Trump saying things that aren't even actually what he says, but they take him out of context. But that's in his heart. But actual Freudian slips, and I'm giving him
the benefit of the doubt. That's who Biden is.
Kind of like the fact checkers the other day with that Joe Biden clip of him going, well, we've got good teams of election fraud. That one where he took best team ever for election fraud.
We know that's not what he meant, but they ran with it.
Well, I don't know.
I heard the whole
230 million Americans have died from COVID many times.
He said that a number of times.
Yeah.
I heard the entire comment. It was about 4 minutes of verbiage from President Trump when he allegedly said there were good folks on both sides of that argument, wherever that was in the South. He never said that way. He said, these extremists, these white supremacists and these white nationalists, they need to go. These are bad people. He goes, but other than that, he goes, I looked around the crowd and there were good people on both sides that were just protesting, and that's their right, and that's American. He wasn't saying that the white nationalists were good people. It's very interesting when you listen to the entire clip.
Kathleen Leininger asks about
she's trying to get Colonel
election problems.
She's trying to get his digits.
And I think there's actually,
is there a website?
There is, and I can't remember what it was.
It's youcan'thavemydigits.com.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what was the link to check if your dead grandpa voted? I think that is
grandpa.com.
Yeah. I think that's Count My Vote TX. I think you can find it there. But there is actually a website that had over 400,000 people that had logged on and listed some sort of irregularity this election.
We need to hear back from our friend Kevin Myers about his wife who passed, allegedly voting.
I talked to him. He reported to the Elections Commission. And I don't know that there's much more he can do at this point. I guess it's up to them to investigate it.
So BJ Nelson says, has anyone else seen Channel 25 going left? I don't know. I don't know that they were ever right, and I love Don Brubaker, so I can't ever really question DB, but I think of Don as Anchorman. He's like Anchorman. That's funny.
Good morning, Wade and Carter.
Hello, sir. How are you?
We're doing good.
Great.
Thank you, sir. On this Veterans Day, thank you for your service, first and foremost.
That ought to be a really fun might be the right word, a memorable celebration when you go and watch him be promoted. Now, we don't want to put any pressure on you, but just so you know, no pressure on you, sir. Want you to know that this morning in our little preamble that we put on our Facebook day, we said the most pertinent guest in the state of Texas. GOP chair, Alan, you are the most pertinent guest. There's nobody else, including Governor Greg Abbott, that I would rather have on the show right now than you. And there's a reason for it. And I'm gonna get to you on this. Of course, Jeannie Morrison is our state rep, and we love her. She's been around. She's one of those people that's just going to get elected. That's how she rolls. When Jeannie ran this year, and I know there's a lot of politics, and I haven't really dug into it, but I know there's people that do lots of stuff. I went dead there.
I know. I'm trying to get him.
Okay. There's people that they put their name in to be speaker, and then they gather some support, and then they throw it to somebody else, and it's all about politics. And I get that. That's fine. Where do you stand with Dade Phelan? I can't hear him. You're breaking my heart. There you go. There you are. Did you hear my question, sir? Okay, I'm sorry. There was a comment attributed to you that it doesn't surprise me at all. That we've had great banter with you, but you said, hey, we don't need a Republican traitor as Speaker of the House. That was attributed to you, and I just figured we'd give you a chance to tell us what that means and then figure out if there's a place for Jeannie Morrison going forward. Yes, sir. So if you don't support Phelan, who I know nothing about, so if you don't support him, how do you, as chair, redirect the effort? Who do you see as being a suitable Speaker of the House? And then how does that process develop to where you can say, make that happen? Yes, sir. See that when you say that, it all makes perfect sense to me. My question now then, as we go back to the national scene, I sat last night. I've got to where on Fox, I only listen to Hannity and Tucker Carlson. Tucker is more entertaining. Hannity is more conspiracy driven. They're both at least on the right side of the graph. But where do you see us going as a nation? And does Donald Trump have a legitimate chance to remain president? Yes, sir. 100% agree.
Well, we were just talking a little bit about the 9,000 permanent federal jobs that President Obama created for a lot of political, I guess, patronage positions on his way out the door that led to the swamp in Washington, D.C., that I don't think has been effectively drained the last 4 years. Um, is this just going to be exacerbated with the Joe Biden presidency?
Right.
Well, and Biden has reached out, from what I've heard, to world leaders already.
That's
I mean,
his place.
is he not violating some laws or some acts here in doing these things?
Well, then the left subverted and tore things down for the next 4 years. They never really accepted the results of the 2016 election.
as it has pretty much from day one. One of our listeners points out there's no official capacity, no certified, no electoral votes have been cast, and Congress hasn't voted on anything. So what gives him the authority, other than self-righteous authority, to be acting the way that he is?
Do you think you can look at this board and see if there's something different? Because the pleasant we have to go into the board, up to the iPad that we always use. Nothing is feeling, they're not hearing anything on the iPad. I think it's exactly the way we always used it.
We're talking about 100% this day before. Thank you.
Some love.
See, that's pretty cool. Good stuff.
And that's the way we always do it, but it's not, there's nothing going into that.
We're kind of acting like it in a way.
Did you try another?
You try to
Yeah.
record, I think. Take my headphones.
The state of Texas, the legislative session's coming up in 21. Where are the priorities from your perspective for the state?
You got it in there?
For you. I mean, listening to that right now.
It's crazy. All right, no worries. You okay?
Yeah.
Good.
Anything?
One thing I wanted to share with you as we go forward, one thing I wanted to tell you is we have a listener here that's a sponsor, BJ Nelson. She and her husband have white trash services, and they're a roll-off dumpsters and a county trash pickup and service. And she has a big, like a barn out here off the loop, and literally said, hey, if you can get Colonel West to come to Victoria and speak, just kind of have a rally, if you will. She said, we'll provide dinner and we'll get all the Wade and Carter listeners out there. And I just kind of wanted to float that to you because, we are the crossroads. We're always on the way to everywhere. And if you ever have time for just a casual evening, and that's probably how we promote it, just come on and have dinner with Alan West. We would love to have you as our guest. And BJ Nelson and her family said, hey, we'll provide the meal. Let's get the Colonel down here and let's just have a question and answer session because as you might imagine, we have a fairly conservative group of listeners. So we'd love to have you. Okay. Okay. That'd be fantastic. We'd love to have you. And you've, it's politics. I would say you've got a lot of fans in Victoria. I know you're not after fans. You're after folks with like goals and like-minded conservative folks. But there's a lot of that in our region. and we'd love to have you as our guest. So
we'll work on that for sure.
We'll work on it. We will get a hold of Ms. Smith, and we'll go from there. How are you feeling, sir? Are you well? Yes, sir. And thank you for your service. We'll let you go today and just appreciate you very much. And we look forward to the time together soon.
Great.
You too, sir.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Awesome. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Folks, that was Alan West. And for those of you that had some difficulties hearing, I don't know if you can hear us now on the iRig or not. It's there's a lot of buttons. There's a lot of knobs over here. And Ash is really good at running it. I don't see anything that looks out of the ordinary, but it just didn't. I don't know if you can hear us now or not. It wasn't working. And
we tried a new cord. I don't think that fixed it. So I don't know what the issue is this morning.
But to recap, what he said was, yes, he thinks 100% that President Trump has a legitimate complaint and that Joe Biden has jumped the gun talking about the office of president-elect, that there's no such thing. It's never been sanctioned by Congress. It doesn't exist. He doesn't think that it's the Logan Act is being violated by the assumed president-elect talking to foreign leaders. He's got no business doing that. He cannot speak or negotiate on behalf of the United States until he's been sworn in. What else did he say? That's just in the big picture.
He thinks the priority for the state of Texas, this legislative session, needs to be watching our spending because the budget is going to take a hit. And he doesn't think now is the time to increase property taxes to try to make up that shortfall.
And he said Dade Phelan was not going to be a good Speaker of the House. That's what he said.
That's the Cliff Notes.
That's the Cliff Notes. Yeah. And
we apologize.
Kathleen, I apologize for the technical difficulties. Our buddy, the Hall of Famer here, Ralph, says, it's Jeff Fonseca, it's stranger things have happened. He said Facebook probably pulled the plug on him. You know that we've had too many creepy coincidences with our video where it just like shuts off in the middle of a conversation if we get too conservative. It just shuts off. But the Hall of Famer, Ralph Salazar, came in, and some of you on Facebook got a quick glimpse of him.
Trying to help
kind of like Potsylvania Phil. Like, you don't know if he sees a shadow. Is it going to be more winter? We don't know. But he came in and said everything looked normal. So we may have to send the board off somewhere. Quick for you today. It's a great day to be at Uncle Mutt's Barbecue. Did you do anything with that list yesterday of all the specials? Remember you had chili. You had the chili yesterday, didn't you?
I did.
So phenomenal. Ash went and had the chili fest at Uncle Mutt's Barbecue and said it was great. And he's getting the list of what the special is for today. They open about 11. You can always get brisket, ribs, sausage, chicken, turkey, and all the great sides. They've still got all of that. Today,
turkey and dressing.
Wow, it's turkey and dressing with your choice of 2 sides and cranberry sauce. And they do have coming up, they do have a turkey and dressing feast. They say it feeds 10. I would think more like 12.
Yeah, 13. I think easily.
It's $150. It's got a bunch of turkey.
8 if you and I are at the table.
Yeah, I mean 2 quarts of dressing, a quart of turkey gravy, a pint of cranberry sauce, 4 quarts, like so your green beans and your all that.
Yeah, you're getting
and a gallon of tea for $150. They just need. He says we use only hand-selected, boneless, skinless turkey breast to ensure nothing but the best in our quality meats for you. The deadline to place orders is November 20th. I strongly recommend this if you've got older folks in the house. If you just want to enjoy the meal, and don't think for a minute that $150 is expensive, because by the time you go to HEB, if you want to do something, make your pie. Make your own pie. But other than that, that $150, by the time you buy a bird and you have to get the roaster out and you have to jack around with it and you hope that it's tasty, and everybody tells you it is, but the white meat tastes like sawdust. Come on, man. Reach out to Uncle Mutt's and you'll be thrilled. Went Services, Went Electrical, Went Generators.
Call Went Electricians.
Love for you to call Went Services today and say, hey, Wade and Carter said that there were some huge depreciation, accounting, and tax advantages to me putting solar panels on my corporation's roof. At least get the data and see if it works for you. Data?
Data.
Speaking of data, JP Hull and his crew, how good was that yesterday that Lorena Bargenbrook was here? I did that right.
You did that right.
Lorena Bargenbrook was
I got to
here.
give a shout out to the homemade bread that she brought us because it was phenomenal.
I haven't had any yet. TLAT did not approve that action. But she pointed out, well, we created a Facebook page that ties to our webpage, and JP Hull has a way for you to click on the link and sign up. And JP, I talked to him yesterday after the show, and he said, hey, when they do that, it automatically tabulates and goes in and propagates a Excel spreadsheet. So at the end of every day, they get an updated spreadsheet of who, what, where it's all coming from. So that's a good deal.
Hurricane Ada reforming in the Gulf.
We didn't talk about budget blinds yet.
No, not yet. We will.
We're waiting.
Well, I was trying to tie that into
We can. I
the
thought
wind services, but
yeah, well,
my phone was slow and I couldn't upload that
your
news clip.
co-host was slow. I didn't make the connection that Tom Ennis, World's Greatest Neighbor, says, hey, I'm hearing you on the iPad. So Tom Ennis is 80 plus years old, folks. If he's hearing us on the iPad, you people are slacking. I mean, it's not like he's a technical whiz.
Well, he might be hearing our conversation through the mic.
Oh, and not
We
hearing.
didn't hear what was going on through.
But
Yeah.
shh.
So
Well, there you have it.
budget blinds can't help you fix your iPad connectivity issues, but they can certainly dress up the inside of your house and make it look a whole lot nicer.
They've got 40% off on selected blinds, shutters, and other things as we go into the holidays. Between now and the end of the year, it's a great time to call and say, hey, man, my friends at Wade and Carter said that you would come out and give us a free quote, and they will.
They will. Free consultation. Doesn't cost anything to set up an appointment, have them come out, take a look at the crappy blinds that you have up there.
Yeah, your grandmother's curtains that smell all musty. Get them out of there. The dog peed on them.
The nice thing she left you when she passed to the
right.
other
Thanks,
world.
Grandma. Sure. Well, the housewares, by the way, are just kind of a Victoria institution of their own. I mean, if the two brothers are fantastic in their giving back and in their everything from really deeply discounting, election signs, trying to help the process in Victoria. They also are big advocates and very active members of the Chamber of Commerce and all that. Just really, really good folks. So we're excited to have them as a sponsor.
And we'll tell you more about budget blinds, the UPS store, and everything that the housewares have into their little empire, their small business empire they are growing in Victoria.
Yeah.
Jeff Fonseca says, put your homemade bread on Craigslist, Brent.
I could put it
You might
on
make a
there.
little bit of
I could
money.
autograph the outside of the package. That would lower the value.
John Paul Hull says he ordered swatches from him this morning.
There you go. And he has a beautiful home. He's in the middle right now of he had to order 200 bags of mulch. I'm not saying he's got a big yard. I'm just saying he's got a lot of mulch. Man, I told him yesterday that if he put a keg on the driveway and order half a dozen pizzas, that Wade and Carter folks would show up and spread that mulch for him.
Yep, darn right so.
Huh. Me and you alone.
200 bags of mulch. I'm thinking
lot of
you just put down AstroTurf and be done with it.
Right? Just pave that yard. Get Brandon paving in there. Put a seal coat on your yard.
USA Concrete Coatings.
They could just come in and
They'll
put
fix
the
that
flex,
whole yard
put the
up.
green flex in there. It would look like grass. You can just hose it down. We didn't talk about white trash services, and BJ Nelson, you heard, hope that Alan West is like, hey, give us Stacy Smith. Let's make it happen.
We will.
550-1826. White trash services can make it happen for you as well in the 6-county region and Holiday Beach and Rockport. So soon to be the city of Victoria, if Victoria's got any sense. So very excited to have them as a sponsor. And then we've talked about the Atzenhower dealership for 4 years now, and what a blessing they've been to us and to the format.
And to Victoria, Atzenhower.com. They've been selling cars here since 1926.
Isn't that something? That's crazy. Tommy Taylor now continues the family, the generational transition, the peaceful transition.
He doesn't go Hank Williams, keep it on the tradition, or Hank Williams Jr. He does it well, honestly, and he's not going to give you a short show.
No, they're
when
great.
you show up at Atzenhower. He's going to do it right, treat you right, sell you a Chevrolet, Mitsubishi, Mazda, Cadillac, or any pre-owned car that you would like. He's got it on the lot. If he doesn't, they'll go find it for you.
They'll find it. That's right. And don't forget to check it out at Atzenhofer.com. Fonseca says the Brady Bunch yard was awesome. Yeah, that was all AstroTurf.
Yeah. It was a sad episode when Tiger crossed the Rainbow Bridge.
Mm.
Oh, man. NFL says they're going to expand the playoffs from 14 to 16 teams if there are games lost to COVID.
Sounds like hockey. Everybody's a winner. Everybody gets to go to the playoffs.
Now it's about the same ratio as hockey.
Is it?
Hockey's
Yeah.
16 out of 32 and football's 14 out of 30. So, pretty close,
right there.
Yep, right there.
You see
About
what
half.
Fighting
So-
Texas Aggies, who are doing very well, number 5 in the country, playing good football. Their game's been postponed, and their game was with Tennessee this week, and it's been postponed. And what they're getting up against
Alabama, LSU also
is that to
postponed.
get those games in, they may have to play like on Christmas night, and then you've only got 1 week until the first playoff game. So let's just say that the Aggies beat Alabama in the SEC championship game and go on and are ready to play, I don't know, pick one, Oklahoma in their first playoff game. Well, they're only going to have a week off, and Oklahoma will have had 2 weeks off.
Well, but those games won't be played actually. Aren't they usually played on the Saturday and not actually on New Year's Day?
I don't know.
I think the college football playoff moves them a little bit.
Still,
play
though,
the
you're only
Saturday,
talking about
but-
1 week and maybe a day or so.
I don't know.
1
I
week
think in football, having a week, having an extra week is not advantageous
can be, but except
unless you got a lot of injuries.
yeah, that's exactly right. If you play Alabama and Kellen Mond gets roughed up, he's only got 5 days to get ready, and then he's on a plane.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence is hurt and he's day to day, and he's got 2 weeks to.
Yeah, he's going to come back
There's-
in great shape. He had
yeah.
no symptoms. He just had COVID.
Yeah. No. So, but
Don't
I
worry
mean,
about
at this stage, you're doing whatever you got to do to get it in.
Yeah.
And give the season some integrity.
Yep,
Christina Wise says sometimes that 2 weeks can cause a loss of momentum.
exactly.
Yeah. She knows a lot about that thanks to being a South Carolina fan.
There you go.
That whole offseason kills their momentum.
Wow. See, you're just picking on her,
Trust me. I know what I'm talking about. I'm a Washington State Cougar fan.
right?
We lose momentum every kickoff.
What? Are we playing this week, Coach? Oh, bummer. Well, folks, we appreciate you tuning in. Sorry for the
Technical
technical
difficulties.
difficulties. Maybe go back and see if his audio is on the recorded show. It may be.
It might be. If not, it'll be on Magic95Victoria.com.
If not, get
And I think
ready
there's a
for us
Magic app,
having him
too.
on.
Yeah.
Having him on over at White Trash Services soon. I mean, he was like, I was very flattered. He was like, let's do that. Here's her email. Get a hold of Stacy and let's make that happen.
So
He's a quality man.
I get asked a lot about the poppy. I brought you a poppy
Yes,
to wear
I
today,
appreciate
and
it. I know what it means.
left it behind. And, it is Veterans Day, and thank you to all the veterans. Canada's always celebrated Remembrance Day. It's a day off from school today here in town, too.
It's your Memorial Day.
And it is. I mean, we only have the one, and it's Remembrance Day. It's sort of morphed into, and I'm not knocking the veterans, but I think it's losing a little bit of that ultimate sacrifice and the tribute to that. But I don't know that even in the grade schools in Canada anymore, that Remembrance Day, we used to have assemblies. And I remember that we would have a veteran come in and talk a little bit about, fighting. I remember going to an old folks home in junior high and actually meeting a World War I veteran.
Stealing his Jello,
Yeah.
doing things that you did at that
His
age.
first name was Percy. I don't remember his last name, but I still remember the gentleman because he kind of looked a little bit like Howie Meeker. That's how I always remember
Right.
him.
The hockey.
The
gentleman.
hockey analyst that passed on the weekend. And he was telling us stories. This was at an old folks home in Sundre, Alberta. He was telling us stories about World War I. And then, our Remembrance Day assemblies, we'd have World War II veterans come in and talk about the war and what it meant to fight for our freedoms against the Nazis. And taps would be played at the end, and then we would all solemnly go back to our classrooms. And usually on the 10th of November, these would take place the day before Remembrance Day. But everybody was in a poppy. We all, we sang the national anthem, sang God Save the Queen. I don't know that these tributes and ceremonies even take place anymore. And I think it's sad that they don't.
We'll
But-
end the show with ashes.
Yeah. Somebody always recited this poem in Flanders Fields, written by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae. I believe is Lieutenant Colonel. He was an Army medic. Was wounded in the battlefield in World War I. Wrote this poem about Flanders Fields in Belgium, where the poppies, and other writings. This became his most famous poem, and part of this is actually on the wall of the dressing room for the Montreal Canadiens. And I'll read it to you. He died right after World War I. I think the Spanish flu got him, if I'm not mistaken. So he didn't die in battle or because of any injuries suffered. But he saw the horror of what war did in Europe. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow between the crosses row on row that mark our place, and in the sky, the lark still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from falling hands we throw, the torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields.
Paid programming at KHMC Magic 95 assumes no responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears all responsibilities for their opinions and guests on their show.
Hello, sir.
KHMC Magic 95.